It is a Saturday morning, February 1st, 2003. In the Colony, Texas, a quiet suburb about 20 miles north of Dallas, the air is sharp and cold. The sky is that specific piercing shade of blue that pilots love, a canvas with absolutely no clouds to hide behind. On a concrete driveway, a man named Dan McNew is standing with a cup of coffee and a camcorder. He's waiting. He's not the only one. All across East Texas, people are stepping out onto their porches in pajamas, shielding their eyes against the rising sun. They are waiting for the sonic boom. They are waiting for the Space Shuttle Columbia. It's supposed to be a routine return. STS-107 is finishing a 16-day science marathon. In just a few minutes, Commander Rick Husband and his crew of 6 are scheduled to touch down in Florida. But right now, they are screaming across the American Southwest at 18 times the speed of sound, a glowing ember streaking toward home. Dan McNew presses record. He checks his viewfinder. The sun is behind him, making the viewfinder difficult to see. He points his camera towards the exact re-entry point. He wants to catch that long white contrail slicing the sky. At first, that's exactly what he sees. A bright white slash moving west to east. Fast, beautiful. But then, through the grainy lens of 2003 consumer electronics, the picture changes. The streak pulses, it flares, and then a tiny glowing speck separates from the main body. It falls back, sparkling for a second before vanishing. Dan realizes something is not right. He adjusts his grip on the camera. He knows physics. He knows aerodynamics. Shuttles are gliders. They are solid bricks of ceramic and aluminum falling with style. They don't drop things. Then it happens again. Another flash. Another piece tumbling away into the plasma wake. On the tape, you don't hear a massive explosion yet. You just see the silent, terrifying geometry of disintegration. One streak becomes 2, then 3, then a chaotic firework display of metal dying in the upper atmosphere. Dan McNew lowers his camera. The realization hits him before the sound does. That isn't a landing. This is a terrible accident he is witnessing, with the loss of 7 lives. This is the story of how that single piece of home video became one of the most critical pieces of evidence in the history of spaceflight investigation. We often think of crash investigations as black boxes and twisted metal, but for Columbia, the answers began in a driveway in the Colony, Texas. To understand why Dan McNew's video mattered so much, we have to look at what NASA was facing in the hours after the disaster. When the Columbia Accident Investigation Board, or CAIB, assembled, they were staring at a jigsaw puzzle scattered over 2,000 square miles of pine forests and cow pastures. They had the black box data, yes, but the data stopped abruptly when the power failed. They knew that the shuttle broke up. They didn't know exactly how it started. This is where the mechanics of failure come into play. A shuttle breakup at Mach 18 isn't an instant event, it's a process. It's a sequence of structural failures, like a zipper coming undone. Knowing which tooth of the zipper failed first tells you everything. Did the right wing fail? Did the nose cone collapse? Did a tile fall off the belly? The telemetry data, the streams of numbers beaming down to mission control, showed a rise in temperature in the left wing wheel well. That was a clue. But numbers are abstract. Numbers can be sensor errors. NASA needed to see it. And that is why NASA investigators wanted to see the video Dan had captured of the event as well as his camera. They took his tape and camera. They didn't just watch it, they dissected it. They handed it to the image analysis team, a group of specialists who usually analyze spy satellite photos or launch trajectories. Here is what that analysis looked like. It wasn't just pressing play, it was frame-by-frame forensics. They digitized McNew's footage. They stabilized the shaky handheld motion. They compared the video to the camera settings. Then, they synchronized it with the official clock from Mission Control. This was the breakthrough. They lined up the timestamp on Dan's video with the timestamp of the sensor readings. At 8:53 a.m. and 46 seconds, the telemetry showed a sudden, unexplained change in the shuttle's aerodynamics, a slight yaw to the left. The autopilot had to fire thrusters to fight it. The investigators looked at Dan's video at that exact second. There it was, a flash, a distinct brightening of the plasma trail. That flash wasn't a glitch. It was a massive piece of the thermal protection system, likely a large chunk of tile or the reinforced carbon-carbon panel, ripping off the left wing. The video proved that the shuttle was shedding mass before the catastrophic breakup. It proved that the left wing was structurally compromised while they were still flying high and fast. It ruled out the theory that the shuttle hit something in the atmosphere or that the flight computer simply went haywire. The video provided the visual confirmation that the physical structure was disintegrating from the outside in. Dan McNew's footage was designated as a key piece of evidence in Appendix D12 of the final report. It helped build the debris-shedding timeline, a terrifyingly precise, minute-by-minute account of how the ship died. But the question remains, did his video find the cause of the accident? Technically, no. The root cause happened 16 days earlier, on the launch pad. A suitcase-sized piece of foam insulation fell off the external fuel tank and punched a hole in the left wing's leading edge. That was the bullet. Dan McNew didn't film the bullet being fired. He filmed the wound opening up 2 weeks later. However, his video was the smoking gun that connected the two events. Without the visual proof of the left wing falling apart early in the re-entry, NASA engineers might have argued about sensor ghosts or computer glitches for years. The video forced them to accept the physical reality the left wing was melting from the inside out. There is a haunting legacy to this story. Today, we are used to everything being filmed: dash cams, iPhones, doorbell cameras, but in 2003, this was rare. Dan McNew was just a guy who loved space standing in his driveway. Because he pressed record on his camera, he didn't just capture one of the country's greatest tragedies, his video helped solve it. He helped ensure that when the next crew strapped in, they knew exactly why the last ones didn't come home. He helped turn a mystery into a lesson. If you found this story compelling, pass it along to a friend who appreciates the hidden history of spaceflight.